Check 1, 2, 3, 4. Little bastards on the floor. Can you hear me, my K? And I'm sure it's breaking in and out again, God damn it. Ow! Good. Well, I don't know how long that's gonna last, but we're gonna try our best here today, and hopefully soon I'll be getting my shit together and have a little money and get me some equipment, some audio equipment, and get it going good. But for now, it is what it is. How's your weekend? Ending. Okay, hun, if you could, and I don't know how, I want to make you one of my mods, of course. I just don't know how to do that rule on the fly, how we are right now. I apologize. I do want to get you down as one, but boy, if you could go ahead and get the word out here in a little bit, if you got the time that we are doing the show, coming in loud and clear, I would appreciate it. Thank you, hun. Now, all right, Jay, what is happening, my brother? And guys, like I said, we're gonna probably have the same fucking problem. I hope not. Go ahead and tell me if you can hear these jackasses on this TV, okay? Hold on.
Participate in the podcast. So that's but they do use her autobiography. They read from her autobiography. Right, they do. Yeah. But there's questions. We'll talk about it. And I'll mute you for a second. Then I'm going to go share my screen. Sorry for the silence, but I'm getting it ready.
Before there were sex tapes, there were sex tapes. Before there was Paris or Kim, there was Tracy. The first, the best, the OG. Hardcore since '84.
Were y'all hearing that? Getting filtered a little bit. Okay, what do you mean exactly, Kay, by that? Okay, check this out. I'm going to try this again. I want to hear, or let me. Oh, okay. I didn't realize you were that damn smart. That's some pretty big words, and I don't know what the hell that meant. But okay, I'm going to believe you. No. So listen, Derek, tell me, can you hear? That was kind of a bad place. I'm more concerned. Can you hear these two guys talking? Is my thing. How their audio sounds? Okay.
They were there on the same weekend as a horror convention just by happenstance. Because I remember the next day she was in the bar with horror. It was even like everyone was kind of doing like looking out the side eyes. You know what I mean? Like, is that Tracy Lords? It's a Regal. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember who else. I don't remember who the guests were. That wasn't was that the George Romero year? It might have been. I know. Yeah, George Romero, Tyler Maine. I want to say. I think. So there was you had Tracy Lords, John Waters, and George Romero.
place, but not attending the same events.
No, not at all.
Okay, Carlos's audio is pretty good. Now the other guy's audio, Brian Spears, his is terrible. But can you hear them, or are they at least audible? You can hear all their words, because that's crucial. Outstanding, outstanding. So I wish I had some music or something to entertain you all with. Maybe we'll wait for a little bit. I don't know how many people we got up in here. If it's just us, I don't give a damn. But Kay, thank you so much. And of course, my homie J.E. and Chris. We're gonna and Bex, I seen her up in here, or she was another one. We're gonna do this, guys. And what I'd like for you to do, most importantly, when we're done, is to be sure to share it with everybody. Because with a lot of the things that have been happening out here in this Dabbleverse, a lot of the discoveries, there is some stuff that I think a lot of people overmissed. And I've been wanting to get into this subject for some time now. And I'm not gonna lie, I've spent I don't know how many hours just being the investigative reporter, the journalist that our boy Carlos Danger wishes that he was. And believe me, we're going to get into all of that. This is going to be fucking a 3-4 hour thing, porcelain edition, without all the good production values, of course. So, everybody, if you want to chill out for a minute, let some folks know that we are live. Gather up your refreshments. And let me tell you, unfortunately, this is a thing where it is 90 fucking 5% of this is going to be audio, because that's all they offered. They have no video for it. It's just fucking a bunch of fellers sitting around talking amongst themselves, sometimes getting drunk and forgetting where they was and words that they said. So I apologize for that. There will be a little bit of video. I'll sing you a song. Hi, Bex. All right, good. So gather up your smoke, your coffee, your drink, whatever it is. We're going to be starting here in about 5 minutes, which was actually the initial starting time, I think, at 11, correct? So yeah, cool. Looks like we might have worked out a lot of the kinks temporarily. But yeah, gather your drink, your smoke, whatever vice you might enjoy. And I'm going to go ahead and step outside myself for a second, let the dogs attend to their last minute gatherings, and we will get started. Does these go out? No. No. Okay. Are we all still here and ready to go? Hello, hello. Good afternoon, my honkies. So, you all know damn good and well that I've had some serious reservations about this Carlos Danger fella. And I'll tell you, it came all from watching some of his. I didn't watch many of his shows. I caught him teamed up with Ray DeVito or something like that on one of Ray's episodes. That's all besides the fucking point. But the few occasions that I did happen to see him in the shows that he was doing, I was like, man, this motherfucker he doesn't contribute shit. He sits up on the fence. He doesn't really take a side. And I'm not going to lie. He kind of gave me the creeps, just his initial, the way he talked and, and the manner in which it was very off-putting vibe. So here's what I'm gonna do. I went real deep. I had many hours looking into this guy, and I discovered a whole litany of fucking disgusting behavior and attitudes and actions, all perpetrated by Carlos Danger and his sidekick Brian Spears. Now, I know many of you are not familiar with Brian Spears. He's the handsome bald fellow on your screen there. Whew, what a low level this one is. And I mean low level. They all a bunch of downloads. But here's what I'm going to do, because pornography is going to be a big theme of this episode this afternoon. And I'm going to give you the money shot at the beginning. It's going to be a Quentin Tarantino movie. There's going to be a lot of bobbing and weaving and going through time, and it's going to be hard to keep up with. But you'll just need to go back and rewatch this. Of course, you all talk amongst yourself in the fucking chat there. Once again, I want to thank you all for being here this afternoon. Please hit the like, the subscribe button, but most importantly, share this, because I think that this, with the discoveries of these Tookies and the Phil Elmores, and you know what? I'm going to tell you something. Have you noticed the Tookies and the Phil Elmores? You know who brought them all into this Dalverse, right? Carl from WATP. That's right, the one that John alludes to as being perhaps maybe a little light in his loafers, but can't say it because of his own children's. Right, and guess what else this guy brings into? I tuned into his show the other day, and what in the hell? There's one of the fucking former Harlem Globetrotters sitting in. And I thought, Jesus H. Christ. First Phil Elmore or Tukey, and then the potato. And now we got 1/5 of the Harlem Globetrotters that he's introduced to this Dabbleverse. So we know damn good and well the whole Dabbleverse only had one of them fellers, and it was Stuttering John's ex-wife's new husband. And ain't none of us even seen him. So now here, let's go ahead. Like I said, we're gonna give you the money shot first. Everything. It's all about the pornography, and don't forget it, kids. But here comes our good friend Carlos Danger and his lifelong friend. I mean, a lifelong friend, Brian Spears, and who? All right, let me get to that one right now for you. And I want you to pay attention, folks. Pay attention to the words. Okay, here we go.
Essentially, of Once Upon a Time in the Valley. And then Brian's not going to unmood himself. I'm just going to say unmood. You sort of get a taste there. I don't know. At the end of the day, Tracy Lords isn't that much older than you and I, Brian, which is weird to think back, because I remember as in 86, 80, like, we were aware of who she was, even though
I'm not gonna lie. Dude. I got my.
Okay, hold on. Let me just choose your next words carefully.
I don't own anything, but I have seen. There was a penthouse that had another famous Vanessa Williams. Like, I have seen that issue, and I have, I saw that issue, and she was in that. I knew who Tracy Lords. I mean, although maybe at the time that I saw it, she was my, I wasn't doing anything illegal, in the sense that, like, she was my age practically. But
Did everybody hear that? I don't know if you did, but let me set it up for you. Back in 1984, there was a young lady who was a porn star, and her name was Tracy Lords. And she was doing pornography while she was underage stuff, and got in the industry and whatever, okay? So in 1984, Vanessa Williams, who was a Miss USA winner, pageant winner, whatever the hell it is, it was found out that she had done some revealing photos younger on in her youth, and they were sold to Penthouse, and she made Penthouse. Okay, this Vanessa Williams, the USA pageant gal. She was on the cover of their old oh god damn, what the hell was his name? The old man, George Burns. This is all back in 1984, guys. And I recall all this because I was 18 years of age at that time. Carlos and this fella Brian Spears here, they were probably 10, 11 years old when all this went down. Okay. So, anyhow, well, it blows everywhere. The news breaks that this Tracy Lords girl, who was also featured in this Penthouse magazine, they thought she was 18 years old. She was 16. She was underage. She was also in that issue with Vanessa Williams or Wilson's or whatever the hell her name is. And boom, came out she was 6. Those pornos that she appeared, the magazines, that edition, once that happened and it all discovered her age and everything, those things became illegal, highly illegal, federal illegal. It's considered young person's pornography, okay? Yes, type of stuff that would get you killed if you had it in your possession when you did go do some time. Jared Subway stuff. So, this guy, let's go back here now. They're talking about this incident because they were watching something on Netflix about a autobiography or a documentary about her during the pandemic. This is back several years ago now, so 3 years. But let's try to pick it up where they're talking about Tracy and where Brian Spears acknowledges he has possession of that book. And I'm telling you, he does, even after all this time, because I'm going to prove it to you over this. And this is why I'm giving you the ending here at the beginning, that this guy is a collector and he has everything like this that you'll ever imagine. And he's held on to it from his childhood, from his youth. And Carlos Danger is a lifelong buddy of his, is the same. He's in the same category, guys, and he knows he has these things. And you're going to just hear and see this just disgusting. But check out Carlos here. All right. I think I kind of gave it to you enough, guys, what's going on. But let's go ahead and listen to their words again.
I don't own anything, but I have seen.
You're going to get a taste there. I don't know. At the end of the day, Tracy Lords isn't that much older than you and I, Brian, which is weird to think back, because I remember as in 86, 80, like, we were aware of who she was, even though we were
I'm not
young.
gonna lie. I got my.
Okay, hold on. Brian, let me just choose your next words carefully.
I don't know.
Whoa, Brian, just choose your next words carefully. Now, Carlos Danger there from Insufferable Bastards, and that's what these guys are. This is their show before it warped into Insufferable Bastards. So Carlos Danger just says right there that, whoa, Brian, don't say a goddamn thing. Don't say a goddamn thing, because Brian acknowledges that, yeah, I was fortunate to get my hands on some very illegal pornography. Let's go back.
I don't know how to speak, but you sort of get a taste there. I don't know. At the end of the day, Tracy Lords isn't that much older than you and I, Brian, which is weird to think back, because I remember as in 86, 80, like, we were aware of who she was, even though we were
I'm not
young.
gonna lie. I got my.
Okay, hold on. Brian, let me just choose your next words carefully.
I don't own anything, but I have seen. There was a penthouse that had another famous, Vanessa Williams. Like, I saw that issue, and she was in that. I knew who Tracy Lords. I mean, although maybe at the time that I saw it, she was my. I wasn't doing anything illegal, in the sense that, like, she was my age practically. But I have probably seen pictures.
Like, whatever, 5 to 8 years on us, but like, at the time, and I only say that because this podcast is a little creepy, because they sort of, there's the angle that, Tracy Lords, ratted on herself, and she was this great schemer, and she was, and it's like, she was a kid, man. At the end of the day, we're talking about a kid who was in pornography.
That's right, Carlos, a kid. I'm not worried about any slander suit against me or anything, folks. You know the reason why? Because these guys say everything about themselves. I'm not into doxing. I think that's bullshit. But they're going to say family names and crap. And yeah, you're going to hear all sorts of weird, disgusting shit out of our boy Carlos Danger from fucking Insufferable Bastards. Him and Brian Spears, these guys need to be locked up. So how's everybody doing? Are we hearing this right now? Check 1, 2, 3. Great. Have you kind of stayed with what I'm going? I know that it's probably difficult to hear those guys, and I apologize, but please go back, rewatch it. I don't know, do something like this, but let's go ahead and go on here. This was kind of one of their more recent. This is from 3 years ago, guys. Now we're going to get into the good, boring shit, unfortunately. But this is where the monsters were all born. This is where it takes place and how we got to here. And we're going to hear, like I said, a lifelong obsession with and other things. But let's go way back. And we're talking 6, 7 years ago. And the Insufferable Bastards was called the Mobile Horror Companion. And you can go to their channel, the separate channel that is right now, And you can certainly look up all of this stuff yourself. I can give you some timestamps. And like I said, I think you'll be amazed. And some of you are going to go, "Oh, goddamn honk, that's petty." The way, porno. No, 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 no. When you're 50 years old and it's been a lifelong passion, here, guys, let me tell you something. Psychologists have proven that the Ted Bundys, the John Wayne Gacy's, the Jeffrey Dahmers, whatever nasty, disgusting folks like that you can think of, they share a lot of similarities. One of them's like bedwetting, chronic bedwetting when they're kids, or hurting animals, or something else that they've noticed. And this, actually, if you're talking about causation, correlation shit, this right here is this is like the number one thing, or these two things are. And that is pornography and horror movies, especially those slasher movies of the 80s. And Carlos Danger and our boy Brian Spears here, like I said, have shared a lifelong commitment to both. Now, I don't have any type of proof that's going to say that anybody here has ever done anything. But I don't know. I think maybe if there was some type of authorities that were watching it, they possibly, within a 120-mile radius of the tri-state area for any unsolved kind of things involving people, missing peoples and stuff, they might want to look into a couple of fellers, if you know what I mean. But yeah, stay with me here, folks. This is going to be long drawn out. I'm sorry that it's an all audio type of fucking thing for the most part, but we're going to get into it. I'm going to sit down here. We're going to play. And like I said, there was over 200 episodes, guys. 200 episodes. And let me tell you, have you ever tried going through and doing a deep dive and a little bit of investigative journalism reporting when it's just audio? It is extremely difficult because you can't speed it up really, because the the language, everybody kind of sounds alike. So it's hard to pick it out. So anyhow, thanks for listening to my fucking whine. Okay, let's go ahead. And once again, this is going to be some shit. Okay, tedious shit. And you need to understand, this is going to it's going to take a while. Very lengthy and entailed. Okay, so we're going to go back to episode 2 of the original name of the Insufferable Bastards, which is the Mobile Horror Companion. All right. Sure. And you know what, guys? We might get some of these fucking commercials because, dare I say it, I got no money for about another month or two. Fucking none of that fancy. I got YouTube TV so I can watch my 49ers play some football. But you would think that they would give you that YouTube premium if you get that YouTube television as well. Shit, that's like $75 a month. But I got to do something because I don't know about these commercial things. I'll get flagged or something. Who cares? Okay, so episode 2. Let's go into episode 2. And this is going to be up at 54:35. 54:35. And in my notes here, it says, this is some obscure porno reference or something. But there's going to be so many of them, guys. None of this shit can be ever taken out of context. It isn't. And like I said, you know when it is. We all know when it is something that somebody's making a joke. Not these dudes. Not these dudes. They've got a passion. A passion. Okay, so here we go. Let me know if you can hear their stuff.
This is, it was at least a half an hour later. So the guy had not even, he just at that time anyway, in the, as a, the brief moment that I was watching this sort of unfold, but just somebody that was like, he didn't turn anybody down. He was not sour on the convention scene. And we've seen plenty of people that are.
But the only other person, here's the thing, the only other person I ever saw at a horror convention, a celebrity who signed autographs all day and then stuck around. It was Mom. They couldn't get on the elevator, probably never had dinner. The porn star Seika, like she just signed all day. This 70s porn star. Sorry.
How do you spell that, Seika? So our fans can look her up on YouPorn or RedTube.
SEKA.
Let me tell you, if you've been listening, if you've even encountered this podcast, you have to know who Seika is.
That's a pretty obscure porn reference.
No, it's not. How's it obscure?
Okay, are we at the point where we can start telling cool convention stories?
Okay, guys, that other voice you hear there, it was Carlos Danger. You can kind of hear his voice, and he's the one. And the other guy is actually the fellow who started up this podcast. Name is Joe. He's a producer or a screenplay writer, very involved in spooky movies, just like fucking Carlos Danger is and his buddy Brian Spears. Big spooky movie guy. But he bails on this podcast because him and Eugene have a serious falling out. Okay. And you're going to discover one thing too. Eugene has a serious thing about having falling outs with people, and I've got a theory why that is. So when we get to that, we'll go over that in depth. But yeah, that other guy's name is Joe. Now Carlos is the one, and I don't know if you heard him, that obscure porno reference about the porno star Seika. And he asked him, how do you spell that name? And Eugene and his buddy Brian Spears, they were almost offended by this other dude not knowing who Seika was, some porno star from the fucking 70s. Well, shit, I didn't even know who that bitch was. Porno star, but like I said, Carlos and these guys, they know all of this crap. They're a walking encyclopedia of pornography and spooky movies, guys. Pretty creepy, huh? Especially considering what I've shared with you thus far about the psychiatrists have proven that these two things run hand in hand. So let me try to go back now. What was my next little clip here? Oh, okay. This one is a good one, or at least it adds to. Well, no, you don't. No, you don't. I don't know how to get over that. Oh yeah, I do. Watch this. Watch this.
Just like, essentially, if you've seen any original programming on Netflix that has Marvel.
Actually, you know what? I don't give a shit.
Just like, essentially, if you've seen any original programming on Netflix that has Marvel, Brian's been connected to it, at least according to your IMDb. Take all that into account.
Okay, guys. Here is where Carlos. Here is where Carlos is a stuff this guy gets offended over. You're gonna it's almost humorous, and it just little bits and pieces. We just gotta listen to them all, and it all come together at the end. Here we go.
Is in that photo.
And I like that I have it hung up because no one else knows who those guys. Like 90% of my friends or people that come over, it just looks like guys that maybe I would have went to high school with are on my wall. Like it's not Like, to me, that's like the coolest thing in the world. Like, I love that.
And they all look so comfortable. I mean, is that like their standard? Hey, we're all having a good. They all look so damn happy. Like it almost looks like you all grew up together. What was like? Were they that cool in person? Like, was it just a laid back vibe like that? Because that's really a wonderful photograph.
It literally was. I was like, please, guys, please let me. I was like, you don't understand. Like, I was probably, guys, please let me get a picture. Let's all of us get together. I was like, getting closer, so this looks good. Like, I was very enthusiastic about like meeting those guys, more so than maybe even the on-air guys, because the on-air guys are untouchable. These guys, it feels like they also listen to the show. Yeah, it was just super cool. Like, again, they'll never remember it. I will.
I fucked up. I put it on the wrong episode. Okay. God damn it. I'm trying to fucking kick some rugs over here, and I'm the one getting the rug fucking stepped all over. Shit, that was no bueno. So let's try this again, guys. Bear the fuck with
First
me.
impressions matter. With
Yeah, first impressions matter quite a bit. They do. Okay.
He's a great scientist, and he's a great at this, but he's
All right. So here we go. Let me get back down to here now. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Okay. Here we go once again, guys.
I'm gonna close because
I thought it was hilarious that you said, "Yeah, man, we're at the last one's there. It's 10:30."
yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. It's not near closing, but if nobody else shows up, they're gonna close the bar anyway, just because it's that like empty. He walks in one door and you walk in another door, and I think of the Captain Spaulding character as like Spears. You mentioned like the dirty makeup, like he paints himself up every day. But he just washes his face with soap and water. He doesn't use like cold cream or whatever he should to actually like get all that shit out of his pores. So he's never like truly like cleaned up. And that's how I like imagine him. Dirty t-shirt, holes in it, probably advertising his gas station, with the fried chicken and gasoline. And the guy's sitting there. Do you pull up a stool, couple stools down, or do you show up, you see him there, and you belly right up next to him because you're thinking, this is like, I got to talk to this guy. I'm on my own. I have a beer. I need some companionship for the evening. How's your approach?
Now at 10:30 at a bar like that, and that guy's giving off a weird vibe. Like, I mean, you're not going to mosey up to a guy in a men's room. You don't take the next urinal. There's that respect. You got to sit down a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right. So
Come on.
TV's on at the bar. UFC is playing or something like that.
Okay, I thought that was hilarious because Eugene gets offended as all fucked. These guys are talking about who would you sit down in a bar with? What serial killer or killy spooky monster, fucking Jason or Michael Myers? Which one would you sit down in a bar with? And Eugene gets offended at this other guy, and he's like, "Oh, no way, no way! I mean, that's you're dismissing all protocol. It's like when you approach somebody in a urinal." But yeah, silly shit like this really, really upsets our boy Eugene, guys. And you'll see. So what am I going to hear next? Okay. Am I going am I too much? Tell me, what is the respectable 2-second delay for the chat? What is that? What type of delay should I have? Or I don't know, but give me some guidance, you fuckheads. Yeah, I mean, Christ Almighty, I could put sexty, don't you think, on there with how quickly this goddamn thing is moving? Okay, so let me see. Let's get up here. All right, here we go, Joe.
face kind of sink and he kind of bares his teeth like a little bit, and that it was just like a really chilling, kind of moment. But I agree with you. I think that is a very unique character. And I'm going to go a step further. When we get done this podcast, this recording, I'm going to pour myself another drink. I'm going to throw in Devil's Rejects now because of you, Eugene. And think about you and Captain Spaulding at the bar.
It's really good. And here's the other thing, they just like about, it's almost like a gut feeling. I didn't think this through that much, but like Captain Spaulding, there's like a gut reaction to that character that happens. And particularly, I know exactly what scene you're talking about, where that I believe he threatens to kill this little boy and his whole family, which is just beyond creepy and so over the top. The guy's probably, he's a party. He's a rolling.
All right, so
party.
now, who would be your least favorite person that you'd want?
Creep job by about the little boys getting killed. No, he isn't. No, he isn't. Not in the least bit. So let's go over here to episode 5. And we're going to get in back to our... Is this it? Okay, here we go, guys.
Overwhelmed by all the Medicare
No, you don't.
Advantage plan.
And then having them talk to you about it and be like, well, it's all right, it's just a movie. Not saying you're never going to see this, because as soon as you start saying shit like that, that's the first thing kids want to do. Well, I want to see this. And then having them...
All right, guys. I'm trying to dupe the advertiser here, but let's go to episode 5 here, and this one's titled "It'll Scare You, Kids." That's their name for it. But here, right off the fucking bat, we get Carlos giving us another one of them.
All right, and welcome to episode 5 of the Mobile Horror Companion. I'm Joe Greenberg.
I'm Eugene Driscoll.
I'm Brian.
We were sort of doing a little preamble to getting everything started, and we had a little throwback to Eugene mentioning his convention story about the porn star Seika back in episode 2. And the guys were ridiculing me for my lack of late 70s porn knowledge.
Again, it's not knowledge, it's just Seika. That's kind of...
I would like to clarify one thing. We were not ridiculing you. When we were making fun of you for your lack of porn knowledge, it was lack of knowledge in general.
It certainly sounded like lack of porn knowledge because you said, well, Marilyn Chambers, you know who Marilyn Chambers is? And yes, I absolutely do. And then you were describing Seika as a contemporary of Marilyn Chambers. And
She was a little bit before that, but
Seika, once again, Seika. And they're ridiculing this guy for his lack of porn knowledge. He is. Yes, he is. Let's scoot forward here in this episode. Now, this is fucking wild. Let me tell you, Eugene has 2 kids, okay? 2 children. He's going to tell you all about them himself. I'm not up for telling all that crap, but it's all in all of this shit. He doesn't keep anything hidden. But this is pretty remarkable, I think. And like I said, it's going to tell you a lot about the guy. Now, at the time of this, when they were doing this here, recording, his kids were like 5, 2, 3 years old or something. But listen to this.
Eugene, you are a parent of 2 kids. How old are your kids?
My kids are, my son is 5. He's a kindergarten student. And my daughter is 2 or 3. I'm not even sure.
Okay. He asked him what his kids' ages were. And Carlos, and he goes by Eugene because his real name is Eugene Driscoll, and I'm not giving up anything. This is all in over 200 episodes. Okay. He changed his name to Carlos Danger about 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, for many different reasons, guys. And I'm going to prove to you that gun is a poser, a phony, a fake, and I think I can show you examples of where there's some fraud. But anyhow, this other guy asked him, "How old are your kids?" No, what he goes, "Well, my son, he's 5, and my little girl, she's 2." Or wait, if she's 3, I don't I don't know. Come on, it's not like they were fucking 30 and 50 or 30 or 40 years old, and you're talking about little kids. And the reason why problem with that is not all besides being what I'm going to show you here, he's a shitty dad and he's a shitty husband. And he is truly disgusting, foul like nobody else in this Dabbleverse, and I'm gonna prove it all to you. So right there, he can't remember how old his goddamn little young daughter is, and it's because he don't give a fuck. He just does not care, and I'm gonna prove it to you, folks. Stay with me, all right? We may have to break this shit up into 3, 4 episodes. I don't know because there is that much. So here we go. There was his deal with his daughter, and I'll play it one more time because I like everybody to kind of make sure they ain't thinking I'm running some poop down here or something like that, or not giving you the correct info. And this is all unedited, uncut, raw, just like how you son of a bitches like it. And PSP, I understand. I wasn't taking no offense. I was laughing at the fact, goddamn, I could put it up to 60 seconds. That would be fair as well, wouldn't it, on the delay? So here we go. Let's listen to Carlos again with that.
Let me watch some things and other things they didn't let me watch. And I told the story in episode 1 of watching The Thing with my dad, and that was a seminal moment for me. But I don't know. I'll throw it to you guys. Eugene, you are a parent of 2 kids. How old are your kids?
My kids are, my son is 5. He's a kindergarten student. And my daughter is 2 or 3. I'm not even sure.
Okay. I have a 2-year-old.
Moving along now. Let's go listen to another one of Eugene's. I'm sorry, Carlos Danger's little porn fun stuff that him and the fella. Yeah, there's going to be hiding out in the woods in this guy. It is really disturbing. So let's get up here to number. Here we go. Here's another good little porno reference. Come on, Carlos, give it to me, baby.
Every one of these horror movies. My parents did not go with me to get videos. But that was the time. You could, like, it wasn't like I got special permission. They rented R-rated movies to kids back then.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, it was a mom and pop store. It wasn't very PC. It wasn't corporate. You weren't worried about losing your job.
Yeah.
Well, like Brian and I used to walk to this video store. We somehow get there, and this one video store in Mayapack, New York, and I'm talking like 1987, 1988, 1989, 1990, that whole, like, I don't know when it was, we're in there, because, we're both 42 now. So we would get these movies, like the Ilsa movie.
Ilsa, she went from the SS. Totally inappropriate movies for us to rent.
Years later, I got a job in a video store after I graduated high school, and when video stores were still a thing. And part of the thing, I would have to order pornographic movies. I would like take. We had the blue books. That's where we'd keep our adult movies, and those movies that we had rented as kids were section. Which is just, and those were like an Ilsa movie. Actually, like Brian and I would do movie reviews for our high school newspaper. So we're talking 10th grade, 1990 or so. And one of the movies, we actually won an award. We won a first place high school journalism award for an article called Crappy Movies You Can Rent.
Okay. Once again, Seika, once again. And I understand, but it is non-stop. Non-stop. That's all these fuckers think of. Let's go on here to 28. And believe me when I tell you that a lot of this crap, yeah, Google it. Google it. Look into what the psychiatrists say about these type of fucking individuals. But let's go ahead and go up here to 2820.
I don't remember what year that was, but it was probably early 90s.
Although, you know what? I want to interrupt for 1 second, just to like, this is totally out of left field, but we keep talking about, like, we've mentioned several times the tree rape scene in Evil Dead. Probably the most unnecessarily. I mean, George Lucas redoes his movies, and he changed the fact that Han shot first and all that crap. I think that tree rape scene is probably the most unnecessary. It's just not needed. Like that. It doesn't. There's no reason. It doesn't fit with the movie. It's like something.
Remember the tree rape scene from Evil Dead, okay? That's going to come back in. You're going to need to sit back and rewatch because all the little fucking pieces to the puzzle start coming together. It just takes a minute. So let's go up here and go to this one right here. It's going to be at the 50-45 mark. All right.
I don't know, but then again, it's like I guess it's kind of up to him. I mean, one thing that I struggle with, I let him play violent video games. There's some video games that I just bought a PlayStation 4 at Christmas, and I bought there was one game, I won't even name it because I'm too ashamed. And now the culture, and now the culture is the other thing about being a parent, like you're totally judged. Everybody judges you on what you do. It's insane. So anyway, I bought a video game for myself, a bunch of Legos games and blah blah blah. But I bought this one game for me, and of course, he loves it. He loves the game, and it's
Okay, here's Carlos Eugene Danger disclosing how much that he loves scary movies and these hardcore video games. That, guess what? He loves playing with this goddamn 5-year-old kid. Just loves it. And I'm going to tell you, all this will come into it, guys. Let's go ahead and listen to what he says the rest of the way on this.
totally inappropriate. So, but he's like literally addicted to it, and I'm like, am I a horrible parent? And I guess that's the whole thing today. I don't know.
But you guys do it together. You know what I mean? Like, so that's maybe something different too.
It's like, what are we, two white trash? What I'm raising him to be a white trash piece of shit by playing this. I don't know. There is that. Yeah, it's easy. We play it together. It's easy. It makes it easy. I don't have, I don't know. But he does. I mean, the thing is, it's a brilliant game. It's like, you walk around in this world, and it's just, I don't know. It's a lot of fun, and I mean, you could tell. I can't even. I'm really conflicted about this subject. I really go back and forth because the other thing is like violence now.
It's totally different. It's totally different now.
Joe talked about how society has changed, right? And what that is, they weren't shooting up schools when they were kids.
Yeah.
They weren't, this whole insanity of the world of beheadings, and it's all different. I don't know if my attitude towards violence is different than it was. We talked about at the beginning of this, I was talking about, the Ilsa movies that I rented when I was a kid, and then they were in the porn section when I got older. Those are reprehensible. Those are disgusting movies. I just like, as you get older, the violence and the horror movie stuff changes a little bit, and that's happening more and more. I mean, I just look at the last episode of The Walking Dead we all saw, where they walk out of that house and they're all dressed in zombie guts and blah blah blah, and like the one little kid, that we all hate, because he's an annoying little kid. He says "mom," and I just hated that. I thought it was such pure exploitation of a little kid, and it's just I just found that really disgusting that they did that. Maybe I wouldn't have found that 20 years ago, but I just thought it was pure bullshit, pure bottom of the barrel, easy exploitation, easy manipulation of the audience, and by having a kid say mom. I just really was bothered by that. So my whole like position is changing as I get older.
I don't know. At the end of that episode of The Walking Dead,
Okay. He feigns a lot about, oh yeah, this goddamn terrible way these kids were exploited, and that's all this guy is into. That's all he's into is exploitation, whether it be those damn slasher movies of the 80s or even the whole lifelong obsession with fucking Halloween or the spooky crap and the lifelong obsession that him and Brian Spears share with porn. And guys, like I said, this is just scratching the fucking surface. This is I'm gonna need a lot of help with this, a lot of help. And I've done all the research and I've got everything else timed up and good to go. I would love somebody that would work with me and help me out on doing this where we could put it all together with your thing and do this, and we could probably knock it out in about a 3-hour show and maybe help with the arrangements of it and stuff. Because guys, there is a bunch to digest, and I can assure you that I spent countless hours in this because it isn't a deal where any of us had seen these or listened to these podcasts before. It wasn't like it was something we saw on Kevin Brennan the other day and we could remember somewhere it's at. I had to sit down and listen to it, and this is where all the goodies are at because you're listening. What we're hearing is, like I said, a couple of fellas getting together, drunk fellas, and two lifelong ones that have some really disturbing behavior and habits, and they are worth putting out on the forefront exactly what these guys are about. And I'm not gonna lie, this started out as a deal with Carlos Danger because I seen him being snooty one day to fucking Ray DeVito, kind of picking on him, and I thought you had nothing to the fucking game. He ain't brought shit to the game. He sits his fat ass on the fence the whole time, doesn't criticize anybody, acts like he's some fucking reporter and journalist. And you know what, guys? I'm going to prove you he ain't that either. Even though he claims his lifelong career is as a reporter, I'm going to show you how terrible he is at that. He is a fucking poser. Just disgusting degenerate. Yeah, I'm saying all of it. And like I said, he says all of this shit. Everything you're going to hear is going to come out of his own fucking fat, chubby mouth. Him and Brian Spears. And that guy, Brian Spears, who I call the bearded dragon, and we'll get into that later as well. Yeah, both extremely despicable people on a level that I think all of you, if we can laugh at Tookie and those guys, these guys need to be condemned. Fucking condemned. And you'll see what I mean. I'm going to show you a lifelong thing. I'm going to show you where they picked it up at, where the abuse started initially for them. I'm going to show you how they perpetuate it continuously with their own kids. And I'm not talking about any type of abuse, the old S stuff, the SA stuff, nothing like that. The development that we do with our children and the things that we expose them to when they're young, it can create some major damage when these people get older. And Carlos Eugene Driscoll Danger and Brian the fucking bearded dragon Spears are two people who have been extremely damaged as children and are perpetuating the cycle now with young people in their lives currently. We're going to show it all and we're going to help them to end the cycle of abuse. I want to thank you all for tuning in today for this quick little romp through the forest, which is something else that they enjoy doing. I'm going to get it'll be a live stream or probably some type of little edit deal, and it will be released tomorrow. You can watch some fucking football or you can come join the honk. It doesn't matter. I don't know the exact time yet, But please share what you know right now. Let everybody know there is some real life monsters in our midst. I want to thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and we will see you motherfucking nigglets next time. Good night, everybody.